Welcome! It's Records Roundup number 50. Yes, we've reached that milestone of a half century of editions of my series where I show you what records I've got, and sometimes it can be CDs. Occasionally it can even be cassettes or mini disc. I don't collect any other formats. No, I don't. Anyway, it's just vinyl to show you today, and not only is this a milestone edition simply because I've now done 50 of these, but I think this is the first edition of Records Roundup. Certainly in memory, there might have been maybe one special or something like that where this might have been the case, but I'm actually showing more singles than albums in this one, so theoretically this might be a fairly prompt one. We'll see. If I'm still standing here waffling after 25 minutes, then I apologise for just talking bollocks. 4 singles here, all 7-inch singles, and 3 albums, including kind of a grail, really, certainly grail price, but we'll get onto that near the end. The 4 singles are all brand new releases as well, so let's get going with the big one. And I don't mean big in a sense that it's bigger than the rest, but big as in you'd have to have been living under a rock not to have known about this particular single that's contained within this envelope from the group's official web store. This has come to me today, the day after its release. It should have come yesterday, but for some reason Universal Music, who run the band's web shop, and they also run Sound of Vinyl and recordstore.co.uk, they decided to dispatch this to Leeds sorting office rather than Sheffield sorting office, which is the nearest big Royal Mail sorting office. Anyway, it doesn't matter, you know what this is going to be. The price of it I think was £12.99 and then another £3.95ish in postage. Can't wait to show you this. Oh yeah, it's a store exclusive, and of course it's the new Beatles single, Now and Then. So this is the one that is out on Beatles store exclusive, and I'm assuming probably Sound of Vinyl you can get it off as well. It's the same parent company, Universal Music, but the exclusive marble vinyl. It's come out in loads of formats. Standard black 7-inch, black 12-inch, and then there's a clear edition. I think there's like a white one. I think there's a HMV one. I've talked about this track and about the releases in fairly large detail in the video that you would have seen about a week ago on the channel, where I discuss the new Now and Then single from the Beatles, along with some other unreleased Beatles tracks that I'm particularly aware of that are unlikely now to see the light of day officially. So yeah, let's get this open. Got a little Made in Germany sticker on it. I'll try and do this carefully because I want to conserve that hype there. Of course, the B-side for this is just a re-release or a remastered re-release of Love Me Do. This really is promoting the Red and Blue album, the compilation reissues that are out, I think today, the day this video's coming out. If you haven't heard Now and Then by the Beatles yet, where have you been, basically? The cover of it, I've seen a few people criticise the cover. I think actually the back's a little bit more interesting, but it's fine. I think it would have been quite nice in a way for them to release it in like a kind of old school Apple company sleeve, you know. So I've got a little insert there, that's nice. It's got, I think, the production notes and bits of bump on it. Here is the single itself. So on that side, we've got the famous Apple logo. On that side, we've got a replica of the old Parlophone centre label. So that side's bound to have Now and Then on. That side, presumably Love Me Do, as that was their first proper single. Nice kind of light blue with some sort of darker blue marbling in it. I didn't need to get this on multiple formats, just one is good enough. I contemplated the 12-inch single briefly instead of this, but it's not like it's extended versions of the tracks, it's just a 12-inch version of what you get on the 7-inch anyway. Happy to have that. At the time of me recording, I've still not pre-ordered the Red and Blue albums. I don't think I'm going to bother because I only collect the Beatles album-wise anyway on CD, and the actual CD reissues, although they have got extra tracks on them now, not just Now and Then, but other ones from obviously the 1960s that weren't included on the initial releases. You know, I've got those elsewhere multiple times, unless I happen to come across a bargain regarding those albums on CD or indeed vinyl. And as I say, I don't tend to collect the Beatles albums on vinyl, but I would make an exception depending on the price, etc. But for now, Now and Then on the Beatles Store exclusive marbled vinyl is good enough. Hopefully I'll now be able to play you a clip of the song, but if there's an abrupt cut, you'll know that Universal have asked me to remove it, and you really should have heard this by now anyway, but take a listen.
If we must start again, well, we will know for sure that I will love you now and then. I miss you.
So that was the big single today, but I've still got 3 more to show you. This one came as a surprise to me, because although I knew they were reissuing a best of with, I think, 3 new tracks on, all Fleetwood Mac covers, specifically Christine McVie written Fleetwood Mac songs. I didn't know that they're going to be releasing a single to promote it, but I suddenly saw, I think, on an advert on Facebook that this single was available at Dig Music, which used to be known as Rhino Music or Rhino Records here in the UK, but now known as Dig. A lot of the Warner artists release their material on Dig Music, and it's from The Cause, and it's a double A-side, Little Lies and Songbird. So Little Lies and Songbird, both Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie tracks, both coming out on the reissued Best of The Cause that I've pre-ordered and should be out early December. The other track, by the way, that should be on that album will be Everywhere, which is still, I think, my favourite Fleetwood Mac single. Little Lies is a close second. Songbird, I quite like that, but not as much. It's actually my first Cause single on vinyl. Might be their first one officially on vinyl in many years. I think back in the 90s they would have released a couple of 12-inch, you know, Todd Terry mixes of Dreams and Tinting Out, What Can I Do, and things like that. Nice to add to my Cause collection with this. It's on standard black vinyl. I won't bother getting this open to show you. I will be able to show you a black 7-inch in a moment, I think. Although that might actually be sealed as well, but we'll soon see. Anyway, The Cause with Little Lies, Songbird, in anticipation of the upcoming rebooted Best Of.
If I could turn the page in time, then I'd rearrange just a day or two. Close my eyes, but I couldn't find a way, so I settled for one day to believe. Sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Tell me lies. Oh no, no, you can't disguise. You can't disguise. No, you can't disguise. Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
Next, another new single. Yep, told you, it's a singles club today. This one is, I think, actually a re-recording of a track this band did some years ago. As when I was looking at it on YouTube, like all the dates for the uploads were from some years ago, and then I did a little bit more research, and yeah, turns out it's an old track, but it's not featured on one of their albums. In fact, I like collecting this band's singles as well as their albums, because their singles don't tend to be on their albums at all. If you want to hear everything, you've really got to get the album and the singles as well. They've only released 2 albums, the first one self-titled, the second one Cry. I'm assuming, although I think I said this around this time last year, that they might have a new album, a 3rd album out at some point in the new year. I'm talking about Cigarettes After Sex and Bubblegum. So a 2-track 7-incher, as always. Now, I did say I'd show you some black vinyl today. Yeah, it is unsealed. The clip that I'll hopefully be playing, assuming the copyright Gestapo don't make me remove it, of Bubblegum in a moment, will be, I think, an earlier version. This version it's the same song, but it sounds different. It's updated vocals, updated instrumentation. I love Cigarettes After Sex, a really good American dream pop group. There we go. Not much to see, really. As with everything that Cigarettes After Sex have put out, it's very minimal regarding the sleeve and their logo and the centre labels, etc. But it keeps my physical Cigarettes After Sex collection up to date. And it's a good track as well. I don't expect it'll feature on an album because, as I said, Cigarettes After Sex usually release exclusive singles that aren't on any albums. I'm not saying they won't change that policy at some point, but great that they've released something new that's physical, or a re-recording of an old track really, but one I'd never heard before. That is Cigarettes After Sex and Bubblegum, B-side Stop Waiting, by the way.
Looking the barrel of a gun, shooting like it's bubblegum, with like a magic wand. All the few rounds are just for fun. Get you on my own, hoping that I could take you home. Picture you with those other guys, driving me crazy, I don't know.
And the final single to show you in Records Roundup today is another one in the Suede picture disc collection. This one is their second single reissued on 7-inch picture disc, Metal Mickey. So as you can see from the hype, another one in the Suede 30 series, where their self-titled debut album got reissued as a half-speed remastered edition, and now they're releasing all the singles, or re-releasing all the singles from that album on these picture discs. I have pre-ordered the next 2. I think one's out at the end of this month and the other one at the moment, although this one did get put back actually by about a month and a half. The last one I think is due out in January, but subject to change obviously. I showed you the Drowners in Records Roundup 49. That had kind of like a repressing almost, as it suddenly came back in stock everywhere. Sadly, it didn't come with the hype that this one has got on it, but I'm not too worried about that. I will get this open for you because I didn't show the Drowners single in Records Roundup 49, and it's nice to just see the picture disc in more detail. These aren't exactly essential, as I've got all the Suede albums, I've got Sci-Fi Lullabies, which I think most, if not all, of the B-sides feature on. The B-side to this, by the way, is Where the Pigs Don't Fly. So I'll get this open, and as with the Drowners, it comes in this little sort of protective clear sleeve here. So in fact I won't even take it out, hopefully there won't be too much glare. So there's your A side, and unsurprisingly it just gives you the track info and stuff on the flip. But I do like a picture disc, and I think these Suede picture discs are a nice little collector's item and just adds a little bit to the whole Suede 30 campaign that was going on this year. There we are, final single to show you today, Suede's reissue of Metal Mickey. finally we move on to albums. Here's an album that I've hinted at that's coming out, brand new release, said to be the group or the duo. I'm never sure if there's officially two of them again or whether there's more. I think it's officially a duo, but said to be their final studio album according to them. Whether they'll change their mind or not, I don't know. This was doing well sales wise from what I heard when I was getting marketing emails from them, and it is of course the latest album from Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, Bauhaus Staircase. Loads of formats to choose from. They've done a Taylor Swift really. They've released black vinyl, I think like a split colour vinyl, clear, red I think, a cassette, a couple of different CDs, and this one is the Rough Trade exclusive white vinyl. So yeah, I didn't really mind what I got, but I saw that it was coming out as a Rough Trade exclusive, and I have got a few other Rough Trade exclusives for other acts over the past year or two, so I thought I'd do the same for OMD here. So this will be out on white vinyl, should be a die cut sleeve as I think their last few albums have been, but I won't worry too much about that because I want to try and keep the cellophane on so I can conserve the hype as it looks now. But I will get this open, or try to. I've had problems with OMD sleeves in the past. Oh no, that one opened like a dream, like butter. I've heard a little bit off this album so far. OMD are brilliant, you know. I still feel kind of an idiot for not getting into them properly until now, given that I've loved synth pop and I've loved a lot of their singles for many years, since I was young really, but they just weren't a group or a duo I considered collecting. And now I just want everything they've done. There is albums that they released in the mid and late 80s that I haven't got. I could source original pressings, but I'm kind of hoping that there might be some half-speed remastered reissues coming out on that front, like there was for the early OMD albums. But there we go, there's your inner, and there's your white vinyl. So that's the Rough Trade exclusive white vinyl of Bauhaus Staircase. If it's their final album, then so be it. You know, everyone's got to stop sometime for whatever reason. Death. A bit morbid. Like I say, hopefully the albums that haven't been reissued in their catalogue, they'll get reissued at some point. Just really enjoying deep diving into OMD recently. That is the Rough Trade exclusive Bauhaus Staircase.
I wanna dream on a Bauhaus staircase. I wanna sleep under thermal skies. Need to dance in a triad ballet. See the world through Albert's eyes. Everyone needs a Bauhaus staircase. Everyone gets a second chance. All the world needs art and passion. Perugo and the modern dance. Perugo and the modern dance. Perugo and the modern dance. So build a world on a Bauhaus staircase. See the future in yesterday. Don't you ever waste this moment.
Onto an impulse purchase, but one of an album I did actually own back when I was young, 11 to be precise. This is another one that I was alerted to thanks to one of the accounts that I follow on X. I don't like calling it that. It's Twitter, Elon Musk, you Burke. Why did you have to change things? Anyway, one of the Vinyl Deals accounts, in fact I think it's called Vinyl Deals actually, who always look on Amazon for good bargains, alerted me to this, and I often miss out on ones because I'm not checking my Twitter feed or X feed often enough. But I saw this tweet about this album pretty much as soon as it went up, and I was able to jump on Amazon and get a copy, and it's a 2 LP set as well. Only cost free postage as well, I think about £13.50, which I think is a bargain for this. And for an album that I like, I've not owned it in many years, but I did own it on cassette when it came out. I probably got it for Christmas 1991. It is Dangerous by Michael Jackson. This is a standard black vinyl reissue. It's been reissued a few times over the last few years. I'm not sure exactly what year this will be from. I'm assuming it's the most recent of the reissues, but I think they've all got the same barcode and layout and things like that. I've kind of taken an educated guess on the info on screen as to what edition this exactly is, but it could be a later one or even an earlier one, so I think there's at least 3 of these. But nonetheless, good album. It's not as good as bad. That's the only other Michael Jackson album that I own. I don't own Thriller. It's something I think I really need to try and get at some point. You know, that'd be kind of like the sort of holy trinity of Michael Jackson albums for me, really. And I did own Bad and Dangerous on cassette and listened to them loads, especially Bad. Dangerous, it's got Black or White on it, which was a great single. Give In To Me, I'm a big fan of that single as well. Loads of singles came off this. Jam, Remember the Time, Heal the World, Gone Too Soon, Will You Be There. Loads got released off this between 1991 and 93, and I think most of it got in the UK top 10 or 20. Nothing else to really say about it, but I think for not much more than £13, free postage, that was a bargain. Really happy that I was able to jump on this before they all sold out, as when these reduction on Amazon tweets get put out, you have to kind of be quite quick about it, really. If it's an album like this by a big artist, I mean, sometimes the account that I follow puts out a tweet saying some unknown band or act has got an album reduced to, like, I don't know, under a tenner or whatever, and it's still under a tenner a week later because no one's heard of them. But anyway, Dangerous by the so-called king of pop, Wacko Jacko. And finally, it's Grail time. So those of you with decent memories can cast your minds back to a few months ago where I was doubling up on not just my Rammstein collection, because that was kind of an even older thing, but the related Rammstein spin-offs and satellites, acts like Lindemann, for instance. I had all those albums on CD, but then I wanted the 7 or 12-inch singles, assuming any had come out, and the albums again on vinyl. And that led me on to Emigrate, which is the spin-off from Rammstein guitarist Richard Kruspe. I managed to get Emigrate's 2nd, 3rd and 4th albums all on vinyl, and I'd already got them on CD previously, but the first one was proving to be the difficult one to get because it did get a vinyl reissue in 2020, but it was an Amazon Germany exclusive, and it's a signed and numbered copy by Richard Kruspe himself. Here it is. I managed to get one off eBay. Self-titled Emigrate album. Just take it out of this sleeve that the seller kindly sent it in. So this completes my Emigrate album collection on vinyl now. Actually, I'm quite pleased with the price. It was £135, yeah, it's a lot, even for something that's signed, and it's actually numbered by him as well. I'm assuming the signature is actually on the cellophane. It's hard to tell, it might not be actually. Either way, I need to be careful just in case it is, because if I just tear this cellophane off, turns out the signatures were on the cellophane rather than the sleeve itself, then that's going to just depreciate its value straight away. I didn't get a chance to get this. I wouldn't have even thought about it, you know, going on Amazon Germany around, I think, late 2020 when this came out. Only 1,000 of them, as you can see. And the prices I'd been seeing this for on eBay and Discogs were double what I paid There was a bit of haggling with me and the eBay seller, but I managed to get £15 off. He wanted £150, but it was make best offer, my first two offers. I think he just ignored the first one, rejected the second one, and I thought, well, he'll let me have £15 off surely. So 135, free postage. It was special delivery next day, extra insured delivery as well, so thank you to the seller for that. Mine is number 362. There's a look at the back. It's black vinyl again. I think it's 2 LPs. It does feel heavy enough to be 2 discs. I don't think it's the strongest Emigrate album. It's probably their best known one because it's their first. They're a great act. More of a kind of mainstream sound than Rammstein in a lot of ways, but still a lot of Rammstein influence, that sort of Neue Deutsche Hart industrial metal sound. But this kind of sounds a bit more Americanized or westernized. Westernized probably don't make any sense because they're from Germany, that's a western country. But anyway, I know what I meant, even if you don't. All of Emigrate on vinyl now. The price I paid was a lot, but it was at least double, probably more actually, probably getting on for triple really, when you consider that most of the sellers are in Germany or Central Europe, and I would have had to pay extra taxes and a lot in postage. I looked out really, just searching for this on eBay, and there was a UK seller selling it, and I was able to get it for slightly less than what it was asking for as well. Emigrate and Emigrate, signed and numbered by Richard Krusper himself.
Don't you know that you're so special? Don't you ever cloud your thoughts like falling rain? Wonder if I'm going somewhere. Still, I gotta get back home. A temptation leading me astray. A frustration. A time will come to pay. Don't you want to know my story?
And that's your Records Roundup 50. Thank you all so much for watching this today. Shown some really interesting stuff. I mean, the Beatles single, you've got to have been living on another planet really not to have been in the orbit of all the hype for that. It's a good song. I won't go on too much about it as there's other videos from other people and a video from myself from a week ago where I discuss it. Just all the other singles, they're all brand new releases as well, or re-releases in the case of Suede certainly. Anyway, I want to say a special thanks to all of my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. Please see inside my description text box a Patreon link, a Facebook group link, and a referral link for Urban Jungle Contents Insurance. I'm going to go now, probably put some of these singles on first, you know, 7-inch single, 2 tracks on each of those, won't take long to listen to at all, and then get stuck into those great albums. Emigrate, of course, I've already had that on CD for many years now, but I'll be listening to that soon on vinyl, and of course OMD and Michael Jackson as well. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next record collecting video and Records Roundup. Cheers everyone. See ya!